Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, and please rise for the presentation of the colors by the members of the Walnut Creek PD Honor Guard.
Honor guard, attention. Honor guard, forward. Honor guard, ready, haste. Honor guard, post the colors. Honor guard, ready, step. Present, honor guard, order, ready, haste. Forward, march. Ready, haste. Forward, march.
Good morning, and welcome to the Walnut Creek Police Department's Employee Recognition and Awards Ceremony. Go ahead and sit down. Today we honor our newly appointed employees, our commended citizens of our community, acknowledge promotions and recognize members of the department for their extraordinary contributions and service. I would like to take this opportunity to introduce and acknowledge our distinguished guests and members of the city staff. Today with us we have Mayor Cindy Silva, Councilman Kish Rajan, City Manager Ken Nordoff, HR Director Sally Rice, Community Relations Manager Gail Vassar, City Clerk Patrice Old, and anyone else that I may have missed. Welcome. It is with great pleasure that we show our gratitude and recognize the retired members of our Walnut Creek law enforcement family in attendance this afternoon as well. Can I get a round of applause, and would our retirees please stand? We have retired Captain Craig Zamolo, retired Captain Neil Stratton, retired Police Manager Sue Garcia with us. Would you all now please join me and welcome Captain Tim Schultz and Chief Joel Bryden, who would like to say a few words before we present our Citizen Commendation Awards.
Well, good morning. Get this a little higher here. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Okay. See, we can't see too well from up here because it's kind of bright in our eyes, and hopefully the reflection off my head isn't blinding anyone. But welcome, and thank you for being here today. Today's a day of celebration. Today's time to honor people, honor accomplishments, and honor the city and the police officers and the civilian employees and our volunteers that do such a great job for our city. It's my honor and privilege to be your police chief. And I say that every time. You're probably tired of hearing me saying that, but you're not going to, as long as I'm here, I'm going to be saying that because it is an honor to work here. It's an honor to be a part of this great city, and I couldn't be prouder to represent the men and women of this police department. Our employees do a great job, and I think you can tell by the great job with the lack of crime we have in the city, and especially the lack of violent crime. And our police officers who are out there 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year are doing a job that you can't pay most people to do. And they're there on Christmas, they're there on Thanksgiving, they're there when the kids are having their birthdays, and they're out there all the time. And it's not a job for everybody, but the people that are committed and do that here in this city do a tremendous job, and I couldn't be prouder of them, so thank you guys. On top of that, we have our volunteers, and I'm going a little different order this time. You'll see why when I'm done speaking. We have 3 sets of volunteers in this police department, and the first set of volunteers I'm going to talk about real quickly are reserve officers. We have 32 reserve officers who worked a total number of hours last year, over 13,000, which equates to more than 6 full-time positions of police officers on the street in our city. And let's give a round of applause to those volunteers. The only difference in being a reserve officer from a sworn member of our department is that they don't get paid. And they're going out and doing a job that you can't pay most people to do, and they're doing it for free. And all our volunteers have literally thousands of different opportunities to volunteer within the city of Walnut Creek and Contra Costa County, but they choose us. And that should make the paid staff of this city, not just the police department, but the entire city, and our representatives and everyone feel very, very good about the quality of people we have representing us, whether they're our reserve officers, whether they're our VIPs, or whether they're our cadets. Speaking of VIPs, we have about 30 volunteers who we call VIPs or volunteers in policing, and they equated to over 1.5 full-time employees last year. Some of the activities they're involved in are vacation home checks, massage permitting. They work in the every 15 minutes program, do scanning. They work our front counter, so they represent us. Every time a citizen walks into our city hall, most of the time we have a volunteer there to direct them the proper way. They also work in investigations and in our community policing team. And we also have 15 cadets, and they're young people that are interested in law enforcement. You'll hear a little bit more about them today, but they do traffic control, handicap enforcement, they permit our taxis, and do scanning, do role playing. They also ride with officers and are out there doing a great job. And what's really special is we're able to look at these folks and guide them in the right path, and hopefully all of them, if they're interested, will get a job in law enforcement when their time in school is done. And that's a hint if any cadets are out there. And then our civilian employees. We have 6 what we call PRTs, police records technicians, and they are the backbone of this police department. Because if it wasn't for our PRTs and our other civilian employees, the people that are dressed like me couldn't get our job done. And our PRTs, our records technicians, do so much work that they're at their desk for 10 hours a day, 4 days a week, doing nothing but churning paper, making sure all the criminal justice system is flowing. And it's a very, very difficult job, and they make it seamless. At least that's what they tell me. Our police service officers go out, and most of their activity is done writing parking tickets. So if any of you are a victim of today, don't blame us because you didn't park in the right spot. Bottom line is they do much more than that, and what they do is they get very, very few complaints. And I've been involved in other places where parking enforcement officers get a lot of complaints, and it takes a lot to have somebody yell at you when all you're doing is doing your job and doing the right thing. So thank you to our PSOs. And then there are dispatchers, and being a dispatcher is maybe the most difficult job in law enforcement. And being a dispatcher, they work the same exact hours our officers do. They're there 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. They're there on holidays. They're there when other people are doing things that they might want to be doing, but they're there making sure our officers, our folks on the street are safe, and that the community's safe. And they're the lifeline. And if it wasn't for our dispatchers and wasn't for the people in that dispatch center working those hours, our community would not be nearly as safe as it is today. Now, last Tuesday, on May 17th, our dispatch supervisor, Rico Lorenzi, passed away. And I think most of you knew that. But if you didn't know him very well, you didn't know that Rico, when he was 15 years old, started as a cadet with the Walnut Creek Police Department. He was literally born on Walnut Boulevard in a house. I learned that the other day. And these are things that Rico didn't share with me, but his relatives did. And Rico had been ill for several years. But what was tremendous about him is when he would come to work sick, he would come to work hurting, and he was so dedicated to this place that he came to work when most people wouldn't even thought of coming to work. Like I said, Rico passed away last Tuesday, and he did a lot of other things than just being a supervisor, as if that isn't enough. In 1986, he was hired as a reserve officer and worked as a reserve officer for 12 years. 4 years later, my predecessors, one of them had the great wisdom to hire Rico as a dispatcher for our department. 8 years later, Rico was promoted to supervisor, and he was one of our 3 civilian supervisors we had. Rico started as a supervisor in records, and up until last year was the police service officer supervisor, and close to the end of last year, he was transferred to communications where he worked. And listing out what Rico had done and worked for this police department is one thing, but if you didn't know him, you didn't know that he was absolutely brilliant, that he was the brains behind our radio operation, behind making sure that all our technology was up to date, and that if it wasn't for Rico, our police department wouldn't be nearly as good as it is today. And so why don't we give Rico a round of applause. He will not be easily replaced, and let me just publicly thank Karen and the Lorenzi family for sharing Rico with our police department, her second family, and with the city of Walnut Creek. So thank you very much.
We're going to present now the Citizens Award. The Citizens Commendation Award is an award for a citizen deserving of special recognition for their unique efforts and contributions to the law enforcement profession. We have 3 citizen commendations: Terry Wetter, Mark Moore, and Misty Lohi. Mark Moore and Misty Lohi, could you please come to the stage? Terry Wetter could not join us today. I'm going to start with Terry Wetter since she's not here and cannot join us. On March 18th, 2010, Terry was retrieving her mail from in front of her residence when she heard a suspicious banging noise from the front of a neighbor's house. Terry then noticed a van she didn't recognize in front of the house where the noise was coming from. Terry saw that the front door had been kicked in, and she wrote down the license plate of the van. She continued her observations of the suspect committing a residential burglary on her neighbor's home from a safe distance and called the Walnut Creek Police Department. Based on Terry's information, the suspects were captured a short time later and identified and arrested, and the neighbor's property was recovered by WCPD. Terry's willingness to get involved while not putting herself in harm's way were vital to the capture of a residential burglar and filing of felony charges against the suspect. Terry's involvement epitomizes what the Neighborhood Watch program is all about, and she is an asset to the Walnut Creek community. Terry is deserving of the respect and admiration of the Walnut Creek Police Department and is hereby awarded the Walnut Creek Police Department's Citizen Commendation Award. On October 24th, 2010, Mr. Mark Moore was seated at a downtown coffee shop when he noticed a commotion and saw a man running from the shop and another citizen yelling for the man to stop. Mark's innate instincts of righting a wrong kicked in, and he chased the suspect, who had just committed a grand theft of a necklace from the other citizen, whom Mark had never met. Mark was able to catch and detain the suspect in a nearby downtown parking lot, and because of this, the stolen necklace was recovered. Mark's detention of the suspect resulted in a physical altercation with the suspect, and Mark suffered a minor injury as a result. Although the suspect was eventually able to break free and escape, Mark's unselfish actions on behalf of someone he didn't even know helped detain the suspect long enough for Walnut Creek's police to arrive and identify the suspect and his associate. Mark is deserving of the respect and admiration of the Walnut Creek Police Department and is hereby awarded the Walnut Creek Police Department's Citizen Commendation Award. On November 11th, 2010, Misty Lohi was in her vehicle exiting a downtown parking garage when she heard a car alarm sounding that captured her attention. She then saw a man stealing items out of the vehicle that he had smashed the window and started running towards the stairwell. Misty exited the lot and searched for the suspect and saw him running up Locust Street and enter a restaurant. She then called 911 and told what she had seen to the police department dispatch. Officers were able to quickly arrive on scene and detain the suspect, who Misty identified as the perpetrator of the auto burglary. The laptop computer the suspect had stolen was returned to its rightful owner. Misty's observation and willingness to get involved directly led to the capture and arrest of a burglary suspect and the recovery of the stolen property. Misty is deserving of the respect and admiration of the Walnut Creek Police Department and is hereby awarded the Walnut Creek Police Department Citizens Commendation Award. Thank you. You guys can be seated.
It's my honor now to talk about our Cadet of the Year, Brian Fidelis. Will you come up here, please? And yes, I am thinking about starting our own basketball team. You see the center here. Brian is our Cadet of the Year, and out of the 1,200 plus hours that our cadets worked this year, this young man worked 400 of them. And if you remember, I said we have 15 cadets, and all of them do a great job, and all of them are deserving of an award. We had to pick one. Brian is a local young man. He went to Indian Valley, WCI, Las Lomas. He attends DVC right now, and in about a month or two, he had the gall to actually go away to college to University of Nevada, Reno. So you're following Captain Skinner's footsteps. And if Brian keeps it up, I'm sure one day he will be a captain here in this police department. Last year, we changed our cadet program. It had been an Explorer program attached to a Boy Scout post, and we changed it to a cadet program. And Brian was the first lieutenant we had for that cadet program, and he's instrumental in not only recruiting more members, but also doing several different jobs, of which we described earlier. And Brian, you're very deserving of this award, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Now I'd like to talk about our Volunteer of the Year Award. For the first time ever, we are presenting a Volunteer of the Year Award, but we're calling it the Walter Stern Award. And the reason we're calling it the Walter Stern Award is because in 1986, Walter Stern heard a talk by a police officer at his residence in Rossmore. And Walter was so enthralled and had always wanted to be a police officer that he came to the department and volunteered, and was actually the first official volunteer the Walnut Creek Police Department had. Walter died at 90 years old last year, and up until the year before that, he had volunteered for 20 straight years for this police department. And we're calling it the Walter Stern Award because of the dedication he showed, the care he had for every single employee, and because he was really a police officer at heart. And so our two winners of the Walter Stern Award, I'm going to call up now and then talk about them individually, are Jeff Strauss and Ron Giglio. Speak about Ron first, and Ron has been a volunteer for our department for 5 years, since 2006. He was instrumental in setting up our community court process, also works in records and investigations, and very recently we changed our motto and we changed our mission and value statement for the police department. And we had one person, a minimum of one person from each work group in the police department. Ron was a representative for the volunteers. And little did we know, well, I knew, that's why I asked him to do it. His background was in marketing and advertising. He retired as a vice president for Safeway a few years ago. So I may look dumb, but I'm not that stupid, so we're going to use what we can to help us out. And Ron did a great job and is deserving. And let me just say this, that annually we plan on just picking one Walter Stern Award winner. But because of this was the first one, and we had a very difficult time picking, and all our volunteers were very deserving of this, we picked two, and Ron was one of them. So Ron, thank you very much. Jeff Strauss has been a volunteer for our police department since 1996. And Jeff has been instrumental in range maintenance at our police firing range. And he was also instrumental in programming and installing our computerized target system. And if you don't go out to the range regularly and don't know what a difficult job that is and how hard it is, you should be out there and see that. Jeff has been bugging me nonstop since 2008 to go out there and shoot with him. Jeff, I promise I'm going to do that. We are going to do that. And Jeff, you're making this community safer. You're making our officers safer by helping out with the range. Can't thank you enough, and congratulations. Can we get all our volunteers to stand up and be recognized? Joan, stand up. Come on. Now we're going to present a life-saving award. Officer John Rabinowitz, can you come to the stage, please? We give these out very rarely. And we give these out when an employee does something exceptional under some very trying circumstances and when a life is saved. And John received this, is awarded this because on June 19th, 2010, he responded to a fire at an apartment complex. Without hesitation and at great risk to himself, he entered the building to evacuate residents. John entered a window in which smoke was billowing out from and found a subject sleeping in the apartment. John woke the subject up and assisted in evacuating him. His quick thinking and commitment to the public are worthy of commendation. His actions are in keeping with the highest traditions of the Walnut Creek Police Department, and he was very selfless in his actions. For your unselfish acts, John, and your professionalism, you're awarded the Walnut Creek Life-Saving Medal.
Okay, next we're presenting the awards for the Master Officer Program. The Master Officer Program is designated to encourage officers of the Walnut Creek Police Department to make an extraordinary contribution to this community and to recognize and reward those officers who are making such a contribution. This program is intended to develop master officers by providing both development opportunities and additional responsibility. In addition to serving in a special assignment, attending special training such as bomb school or accident reconstruction school, and participation in a special project that benefits either the department, the city, or the community, each level requires a specific number of years of peace officer service, as well as the requirements aforementioned. Senior officer level will require 9 years in law enforcement. The Master Officer 1 level requires 15 years in law enforcement, and the Master Officer 2 level requires 20 years in law enforcement.
And let me grab my notes. Liz Wallace and Kim Gerstner, could you come to the stage, please? Both Liz and Kim have attained or are being appointed today as senior officers. Is Liz coming? I don't see her out there. And we're thankful to have both of them. Congratulations. And Liz, do you have your speech prepared? Congratulations to both Liz and Kim. And we're going to move on to Master Officer 1, Mark Kahn and Tony Keeler. Tony is actually working the street today, and he was on a call. I don't know if he was able to make it. Is he out there? You get the stage today, Mark. Mark has attained the level of Master Officer 1. Congratulations. Good job, Mark. We have one officer being appointed Master Officer 2, that's Sean Dexter. Unfortunately, he's away at a training school and was unable to make it, but let's give him a round of applause. You heard Chief Bryden talking about the PSOs earlier, and we're lucky today to be appointing PSO Lauren Guerin. Can you come to the stage, please? And Lauren, if you have any family or friends that'd like to come on stage with you, come on down. Okay. Lauren comes to us from the Clayton Police Department, and we're lucky to appoint her because in 2010, she was the Clayton PD Employee of the Year. She was born in Concord, attended Clayton Valley High School. What's their mascot?
Eagle.
Is it the Ugly Eagles or Ugly Eagles? I'm always amazed at that. Graduated from Diablo Valley College with an AA degree and received a Bachelor of Science degree from Cal State East Bay. We are very happy to have Lauren, who includes in her hobbies as spending time with friends and family and participating in church activities. Congratulations, Lauren. And we're lucky to appoint a police reserve officer today, too, that volunteer rank. Melvin Miranda, please. Melvin, is your wife Vicki here? Here she comes. The part you don't know about Melvin is that he is currently employed as a PSO. We're lucky to have him also now do double duty as a PSO and a reserve. Melvin was born in the Philippines and grew up in Southern California, went to college in Southern California where he studied nursing. He's worked previously as a certified nurse assistant, as an armed security guard, and as a security officer. In his current assignment as a PSO, he's a certified car seat installing technician and also a member of the crime scene investigation team, the CSI. His wife Vicki is in attendance, and Vicki is also an employee, works in the records department. We're very lucky to have this dynamic duo. Melvin enjoyed spending time with his children and family, playing tennis, and I can vouch for his excellent cooking. Pinning Melvin's badge today will be Vicki. Congratulations, Melvin. Will Appel, are you in the house? Come on down. We're moving on to the police officer rank now. Will Appel was born in Oakland and grew up in Walnut Creek. He attended Ignacio Valley High School and graduated from UC Berkeley with a degree in legal studies. He's a personal trainer and worked at 24 Hour Fitness before coming here. And in attendance is his mother, Alva, his father, Bruce, and his wife, Randy. And can we get all of them to come on down?
Come on, all of you. Come on up on stage.
Yeah, everybody. Will enjoys jiu-jitsu. I hear his jiu-jitsu is very strong. He also plays chess in his spare time. Pinning his badge will be, and we'll hold on just a second until everybody gets up. And actually, Will, why don't you come over here and introduce everybody through the mic.
This is my wife, Randy, my stepdaughter, Marisa, my mom, Alva, and my dad, Bruce.
Pinning Will's badge will be his wife, Randy. Congratulations, Will. Thank you very much. Next up is Anthony Morosco. And can we get the family and friends to come up too? Anthony was born and raised in Escondido. He graduated from San Pascal High School and attended, I don't know, San Diego State University. That's the Chiefs University. Prior to Walnut Creek, Anthony was a police officer with San Diego Police Department for 8 years. He was a member of their SWAT team for 4 years, and he specialized in gang suppression and community policing. And prior to his career in law enforcement, he worked as a lifeguard for Oceanside. Anthony's parents, Nikki and Rick Morosco, are here, as well as his fiancée, Gwen. You all wondered why she was leaning a little bit to the left. That ring is weighting her down. Surprise guests is that Sergeant Linda Griffin over there? Thank you for coming. And is Tristan here?
Couldn't make it.
Couldn't make it. Okay, he was going to try and surprise she. In addition, how about, did Guy make it? Do we know?
Yeah.
Couldn't make it either, but Guy Swanger sends his best wishes from Concord PD. Backpacking, hiking, camping, cycling, competitive racing. Gosh, you've got a lot of hobbies there. Pinning Anthony's badge will be his fiancée, Gwen, who is also a city employee. Congratulations, Anthony. And we're going in alphabetical order. Appel, Morosco, and that leaves Mitch Lestrange. And come on down with your family. Yeah, I guess that wouldn't be alphabetical order. How about reverse alphabetical order in terms of their first names? Can we get Mitch's family and friends also? Mitch was born in Hayward and grew up in Lodi, and he graduated with a degree from Sac State. Prior to Walnut Creek, he was with the Stockton Police Department for 4 years as an officer, and before his career in law enforcement, he was a PE teacher in middle school, right? Yeah. Mitch's wife, Angela, is next to him. His son, Jackson, in the house? Yeah. He's out running around, okay. And why don't you come over and introduce everybody else, Mitch?
Next to Angela is my mother, Rexy, then my father, Monty, and my father-in-law, Gino. And my mother-in-law, Debbie's out there with Jackson somewhere.
They're watching on the TV if you can say hi to Jackson.
Hi, Jack.
Mitch enjoys spending time with his wife and son, and obviously expecting another child in June. He likes to play golf and being outdoors. And I don't know if you've noticed a theme, but we've got 3 lateral officers here, and we're proud to have all of them. Will was from Concord PD prior to us. Mitch is from Stockton PD, and I mentioned Anthony was from San Diego. We're very happy to have all 3. Congratulations, Mitch. Pinning the badge is his wife. Turn the podium back over to Chief Bryden.
We had one other promotion last year, and that was Captain Steve Skinner. And as you see, Steve's not here today, or he'd be up on the podium. And I told him since he's missing this that he's being demoted, and we're going to open up that process again. No, I'm just kidding, but I had to say that in his honor. Steve is actually in Arizona with his mother for a medical procedure with her, and he couldn't be here this week. But Steve has done a number of different assignments, has done a tremendous job in everything he's done for this police department, and he's doing a great job keeping an eye on Tim and I as we go through the daily work routines that we do. So let's have a round of applause for Steve Skinner. And Jackie McDaniel is one of our dispatchers, if you didn't know that, and Jackie has volunteered today to be our MC, and let's give a round of applause for Jackie.
Ladies and gentlemen, and distinguished guests, thank you for attending today's ceremony. I'd also like to thank Chief Bryden and, hang on a second, I have a little list. Chief Bryden, Captain Schultz, Acting Lieutenant Lanny Edwards, and Tori Maxfield for allowing me the opportunity to MC today. And now if you'd please join us in the lobby for refreshments and photos as we salute all of our employees and award recipients. Thank you and stay safe.